Reverie Love. You know
What's
how long?
up?
You know how long I've been trying to catch up with you?
A long time, you said, about 7 or 8 years, it seems like, right?
No exaggeration. Probably around 14, 15 when your music really started to bubble. I guess that's around the time. So let's go, take me to that time. When did you start realizing people were really feeling my sound?
I would say around then, like 2014, 2015. That's around the time when I really started catching my buzz in LA, and that's also around the time when I started hiring people to help me, and also when I started doing my music and art and everything around it full time. I moved out and I was paying all my bills and everything since 2015.
Okay, so would you say that YouTube is really where you kind of started? That was your I guess, your launching point?
No, I would definitely say my launching point was, well, first of all, in the streets, because I started off doing graffiti. And when I was doing graffiti, I started catching the buzz in the streets already. So people were talking about me in my neighborhood. And then I had started releasing music on MySpace. And so when I started releasing music on MySpace, people were like, oh shit, that's the girl that writes Reverie on the walls. And so it was already like another buzz popping off right there. After MySpace, I would definitely say went to YouTube and Facebook. And YouTube is where I dropped my first music videos. I mean, I guess they're all up there. I have posted them on my Facebook and stuff, but yeah, I would say YouTube is definitely one of my main tools that I still to this day depend on a lot for reaching new audiences and also catering to the one that I already have.
Now, I remember going to your YouTube channel, and I guess over the years, perhaps maybe you've deleted some videos.
I have. I've deleted many videos off my YouTube, yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about that because I remember, unfortunately, I didn't save them, I didn't screen capture, but I knew, okay, Reverie's got a video there, video there, video there. When I went back a few years later, I noticed some of them were missing.
Yes.
Was that a professional move? You changed the way you, I guess it was a creative or professional move? You took some of your music down.
There's a lot of reasons why I've taken a lot of my YouTube videos off of YouTube, but I would say that I put most of them back. And I took a lot of them down, I would say 2-3 years ago, because some of them didn't get good views or the views that I would have liked to get. And you know, as an artist, sometimes when your art doesn't get the numbers that you think it deserves, it's a blow to your ego and you're embarrassed and I don't look as good as so-and-so, or I look whack because my other videos got millions of views and how is this only gonna get 20,000? So I ended up taking a bunch of my stuff down because they didn't get a lot of views, and also because a few years ago I started changing my sound a lot. And then I had decided that I was gonna go back to just doing straight rapping. So I took all of those things off of my YouTube. But literally a few months ago, I decided, fuck this. I just wanna make the music that makes me feel good. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the stats. I make art because if I don't make art, I will go insane. So I decided that I'm gonna go back to the path that I wanna go on, whatever that is. And so I ended up putting a lot of them back on my YouTube channel. So you might want to look again and they're going to be there. I actually just made a video about it a couple months ago on my Instagram, and I addressed that, like how I just said exactly what I just said. I said, I want to apologize to myself for all the times that my art didn't get the acknowledgement that I thought it should have, and then I disregarded my art and didn't like it anymore.
So a lot of fans were, I guess, saying the same thing that I said, like, hey, where'd this music go? Where'd that song go?
Yes.
Even though it may not have had 100,000 views, I like that song.
Yes, they would continuously ask me, what happened to this video? What happened to that video? And honestly, I would kind of just ignore it because I didn't want to really explain myself because of various reasons. Mostly because I was embarrassed, you know, and now I've been making music for about 10 years. So a lot of my videos are doing different kinds of numbers, videos and songs, you know, and there's some artists that have had just more of a consistent growth over their career with the numbers. But that doesn't always equate to success in the real world. You know, a lot of artists have stats on Spotify, have stats on YouTube, but they're broke. They're not doing shit. They're just not doing significant things with their life. So that's also something that encouraged me to just keep putting out the art that I want to, because maybe I'm not getting the right stats, the stats I would like to get on YouTube and or Spotify sometimes. But I'm doing a lot of really great things with my life. I have my staff going on. I'm making good money. So there's other things that I have going on besides numbers on Spotify.
Most definitely. Do you ever critique the algorithm? I don't know about Spotify, but I know that YouTube actually has favoritisms towards certain channels, towards certain videos that they'll promote more than others. Doesn't mean that it's a better video, a better song, a better artist, a better interview, but it's just something that the algorithm catches. Have you ever looked into that?
I have, and it just goes back to what I'm saying. It's just not all about the money and numbers for me. If it was, I could just make cookie cutter music and not cuss and not talk about deep stuff and make it more suitable for ads, because I'm sure that's what they base the algorithm off of, where they can put more ads. But that's just not really what I'm focused on. I just want to make the music that makes me feel good. And I do get ads on my music videos as well, but I'm sure they're not like kids reviewing toys or people that do pop music,
At least a lot of your music, though, I feel is family friendly. Even though you're talking about dark subjects, you're not over sexualized. You're not provocative, where those types of videos would probably be adult only.
Yeah.
But a lot of your songs and a lot of your themes are lessons that for any age group, I believe.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the stuff I talk about in my music can be appreciated by anybody, old, young, rich, poor, black, white, gay, straight, don't fucking matter, guy, girl. I feel like I talk about a lot of universal messages, and I feel like that's why my music really resonates with people.
All right, let's take it back to the beginning. You're from Northeast LA.
Northeast LA, Highland Park.
Highland Park.
Yes.
Before we go back to your early days, where you're from right now is being extremely gentrified.
It is.
There was a time in the 80s, I grew up here. I used to go through there and be like, this is a wild area. You have Highland Park, you got avenues, you got Dogtown, you have Cypress Park. But now you have an influx of middle class, upper middle class people buying those houses at the top of the hill. Yeah. And I guess the police are trying to clean up the whole area. Talk about that for a moment, if you can.
When I grew up in Highland Park, it was pure Mexicans. Like, I'm talking about in my school, it was all Mexicans. Like, there was probably like 10 black kids and like 5 white kids. And actually, there was a lot of Filipinos. There's a lot of Filipinos in Highland Park. There was Filipinos there. But that's it. Like, it was all Mexican. And so all the street signs, not all of them, but I would say, like, I don't know if I'm exaggerating, but I think I remember like half of the street signs being in Spanish, like with the clinics and the liquor stores and the restaurants and the hair salons. Like, so many signs were in Spanish. And now when you walk down York Boulevard or Figueroa, it's like yoga studios and record shops and white people walking their dog at 2 a.m, and it's really interesting seeing the change. It's been about 15 years, I would say, that it's been really changing. But it was really different when I grew up there. It's really interesting going back. I don't like going back there. I don't really spend a lot of time there, only if I'm going to be visiting family. But when I do go back, I always trip out on how different it is.
Did anyone see it coming, this transition, or did it just like hit everybody out of nowhere?
I feel like very few people saw the transition coming, and then when people realized that it was really here, it was too late for a lot of the people that live there. A lot of the people that live there have now gotten pushed out because they can't afford the rent anymore, obviously. But I will say that, fortunately, a lot of my close friends that I grew up with, our families own property in Highland Park. So we're very fortunate. Those house values have gone up significantly, and so I feel like I just hope that when people see gentrification happening, that it raises their awareness on rent control, and also that it encourages them to think long term and to try to get a house instead of spending all your money on designer shit, you know, when you're renting somewhere and then you're gonna get pushed out and live somewhere that you don't want to live. You're not gonna live next to your family to help you raise your kids. It's just a really sticky situation. So gentrification has been around since the beginning of time. It's always gonna be around. It happens all over the world in every city. So it's not something that I'm gonna be like, oh, fuck gentrification and blah blah. I just really hope it raises awareness about those subjects, because it's really important to know stuff like that.